Today we're going to look at Isle of Skye. It's a great little gem from 2015 where you build castles on these giant floating islands while you hurl cows at each other.
No, it isn't.
Fine. It's a game about medieval Europe. But stay tuned, it's really good. Don't go away. Roll the intro. So today we're looking at Isle of Skye. It's from Lookout Games in Mayfair. It plays 2 to 5 players. It's from the same designers that did Broom Service. Let's just get right into it. I'll show you what's in the box, how a turn goes, and then I'll let you know what I think. So here are the components. The quality is very high. The cardboard's very thick, so there's no curling. These are the tiles that you're going to use throughout the game. Nice cloth bag to put them in. Standard rule book. The shields, one for every player to hide how much money they have. Starting locations for every player. Point track markers. Here are the victory point conditions. You're only going to use 4 in a game, and they give you many more than that, so every game is going to be different. The currency, much like every other game, when you get into the high player count, 4 or 5, there's just never enough. And here's a nice board for the scoring and keeping track of the turns. Alright, we're all set up for the first turn. Billy's going to be the first player. And the first thing all players do is collect income. They add up all the gold connected to their castle by roads, plus their castle already starts with 5. So in a later turn, I might have something like this, and because now this gold is connected by road to the castle, at the beginning of that turn, I will get 6 gold. Next thing all players do is draw 3 tiles from their bag and set up in front of their screens just so. Then they're going to set prices for 2 of their tiles and place the axe behind the 3rd, all hidden behind their screens. Once everyone has done that, they all reveal, and we remove the tile that has the axe behind them. Players will now in turn order purchase 1 tile from other players. This is the part where when I'm teaching new players, I set it up just like this and go through the purchase phase so we don't run into a problem like this, because as you can see, Billy is the first player, and because no one has had a chance to buy any tiles from him, he does not have enough money to buy anyone else's tiles, so he must simply just pass. So now it is my turn. I can either buy tiles from Sarah or from Billy, or just pass as well. I'm going to buy Billy's tile that he set at 3, so I give him the 3 gold, and he also gets the 3 gold that he set the price at. So I'm done purchasing. It's now Sarah's turn, so she can either buy one of my tiles, one of Billy's tiles, or just pass. She decides she's going to buy Billy's tile that he set at 2. So it gives him the 2, plus the 2 here, gives him a total of 4. He also puts that behind his screen. Now, and she takes that tile. And this is the tile that I purchased. Now, we set those tiles aside. And now now that everyone's purchased or passed, you simply remove all the gold. You also get these tiles as well. You set them aside with the ones you purchased, but make sure you take the gold and bring it back to the general supply. So now we're going to go to the build phase. So as you can see, Sarah and I are each going to have 3 tiles to build with. Well, Billy will have none. So don't be a Billy. Building is simple. Place these tiles in any order as long as one side shares the side of a tile that's already been placed. And the shared side also has to match the terrain type. So i.e. mountain to mountain, water to water, grass to grass. And unlike Carcassonne, you can cut the roads off. You don't need to continue the road. But just remember that in order to get income, you have to trace the roads back to your castle. And there are also some victory conditions that rely on roads. So now once all the tiles have been placed, we're going to go to the scoring. Because it's turn 1, we're only going to score whatever is in column A. I'm not going to go into the different victory conditions, but some of them are 1 point for every sheep, whoever has the most gold, the most barns, having groups of 4 tiles together, you'll get victory points. There's over 16 of them, so I'm not going to go into it. So players move up the scoring track, and we move the turn marker to B, and we're ready to start the second turn. Now, from turn to turn, things don't change very much. Just what tiles are going to score. Every tile is going to score 3 times, and income will change. as you can see further up the track, these symbols here. So in turn 3, for every player that is ahead of you on the scoring track, you're going to get more gold. So in this situation, green will get 2 extra gold, and in turn 5, he would get, for 2 people in front of him, he would get 6 extra gold. So that's all that changes from turn to turn. And then we go into a final scoring step. So this is final scoring. This occurs at the end of round 5 in a 5-player game, at the end of round 6 in a 2 to 4-player game. We're going to look at these scrolls right here, and they're going to give you a victory point for the things that are depicted on your terrain tiles, i.e. the number of cows you have, the number of barns, the number of lighthouses, for every pair of sheep, for every pair of barrels. So what I've got set up here is that you see this scroll here. It says for every 2 sheep you get a victory point. So we count up the sheep, and there's only 2 here, so he'll get 1 victory point. There's a couple of special ones here. Like, as you can see, this grassland is completely enclosed. So instead of only getting 1 victory point per cow, because the grassland that it's depicted on is completely enclosed, he will now get 2 victory points per cow. So 2, 4 victory points. Same thing with this water here. It's completely enclosed, so instead of getting 1 victory point per lighthouse, he'll get 2 victory points per lighthouse. Doesn't mean it has to be lighthouses in that water, just anywhere he has lighthouses, 2 victory points. 2, 4, 6. 6 more victory points. So that's it for final scoring. You look at all your scrolls, you add up all your points, you add it to the victory point chart. Whoever has the most victory points is the winner. So what do I think? So that was Isle of Skye. What do I think? First, the fiddly bits. You have to search pretty hard to find things wrong with this game. First thing I would say would be how the rulebook explains the different victory point tiles. That definitely needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Board Game Geek, I'm sure you'll find a more comprehensive list of what each victory point tile does. The other thing is, like I explained earlier, people can get juked out of having any tiles in a turn. So if that's not explained to them at the beginning of the game, that could be a detriment as well. That's pretty well all that is wrong with this game. The art is great. The component quality is great. The fact that there's only 6-page rulebook and most of that is, contents and giant pictures, so you can learn the game very quickly. It plays very quickly. It says 60 minutes on the box. I'm sure you can get done much quicker than that. When I was thinking about the theme of this game, the medieval, I joked about it earlier, but I think much like the Dominion, the card game, and Carcassonne, they give it a generic theme because it's a very mechanical game. They just don't want you looking for theme because it's just not there. It's a tile lane drive for victory point mechanical game. There's very few games that do it well, like Among the Stars and Zuluretto are pretty well the only 2 games that the theme sort of comes through a little bit. But other than that, you can see these games here, they're all tile lane drive for victory point games. When I first put them out, Isle of Skye was definitely top of the list, but then saw Tigris and Euphrates. It's definitely a heavier game, but you just cannot beat Tigris and Euphrates. It's a classic. It's much heavier, but if you like any of these games, you need to check out Tigris and Euphrates. It is lit. It stands the test of time for sure. Among the Stars, also, you definitely need to see if you like, space, same sort of thing. You lay out all the tiles, and they score at the end of the game. This is a fantastic game. It's just the setup of this is a little long. Quadropolis, nice new game from Days of Wonder. Fantastic art, great component quality, and Carcassonne the classic. So that's Isle of Skye. In this class of games, I will give it a 9 out of 10. It is that good. It is a Spiel des Jahres nomination at the point that I'm recording this. It is definitely worth it. Unfortunately, it's going up against Pandemic Legacy and Time Stories. But it still is with those 3, and it's going to get the hype. It is slowly building momentum, and you're going to see this a lot more, I'm sure, on tables. So that's to the point. Thank you very much for watching. Please come back next week. I'm going to have another video, and I'll see you then.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.